Howdy y'all, my name is Senia Castro, and my capstone project was on creating a story map of land subsidence in Fort Bend County, Texas. I worked with the Harris-Galveston Subsidence District for this project and was able to obtain some data on GPS stations that were placed around the county. While the story map was made for the district to use, it was also made to address the issues on subsidence to the public. I created this story map to ease the public into the subject by showing them what subsidence is, why it's important, what effects it has, and showing relevant data on the county. To me, the subject on subsidence is important because not many people are aware of what it is. I was also unaware about the subject until I began my capstone project, and throughout both capstone terms, I had classmates comment that they didn't know about the subject either. The issue with subsidence is the lack of publicity, and I hope that this story map will help others, whether they live in Fort Bend County or not, to know about subsidence and all the damage that it causes. I start off the story map by easing the reader on what subsidence is. Land subsidence is when the land begins to sink. The image here gives the public a visual to understand what happens when aquifers are overdrawn. You can see that the ground collapses because of over-extraction of groundwater right here. There are various reasons why land subsidence occurs, as shown on the image here. Two common reasons include mining and groundwater extraction. Aquifers can be replenished naturally with the rainfall as shown on the image here. The amount of rainfall received determines the amount that is replenished for an aquifer. If certain areas don't receive enough rainfall, then there is an imbalance with the recharge rate of the aquifer and the extraction rate of the groundwater. This gift does a great job at explaining what happens in coastal areas if the groundwater is extracted at a faster rate than the aquifer is able to replenish. With the over-extraction of groundwater, the land sinks and causes something like a bowl. With the rise of the sea level, this bowl becomes an area awaiting for flooding. Subsidence is dangerous because it's something that happens slowly over the course of time. If you look at the image here, the level of ground has drastically changed since 1988. In 1988, the ground used to be up here. As of 2016, the land has sunk 6.2 feet over here. This is an issue that is occurring in and around the Houston area, which also includes Fort Bend County. How is subsidence dangerous? Well, land subsidence causes permanent damage. One major issue is reducing the capacity of the aquifers. Once a material, such as clay, compresses with the loss of the groundwater, there is no way to return the aquifer to its original shape. Similarly, it's like if you were to press down on a cake. It's not going to expand back. Even if there is plenty of rainfall, that aquifer won't be able to stretch itself back to its original shape. Another effect of subsidence is damage that is caused to roadways and buildings. Imagine that in 1988, a road or a house was built right here. In 2004, that road would be destroyed due to the changes of elevation. If a house was built there, then the house would have most likely collapsed, and if there were pipes, all the pipes would be damaged due to the shifting of the land. I have also added this short video right here, which I'll link in the discussion post in case anyone was interested in watching it. This video shows information about how subsidence has become a problem in the Netherlands. Here I added a bit of information about the aquifers used for the groundwater extraction. This whole coastal area right here sits on the two aquifers used for extraction, which are the Chico aquifer and the Evangeline aquifer. The water extracted from the aquifers in Texas are primarily used for irrigation, as shown on this chart right here. I added this chart so that people would know what the groundwater was being used towards. Groundwater extraction has been occurring in Fort Bend County since the 1880s, where 1 to 2 million of gallons per day were extracted. By 1972, the extraction rate went up to 167 millions of gallons per day. The subsidence rate in Sugarland was also calculated to be from 10 to 25 millimeters per year. While it doesn't seem a lot, the previous image has shown how much the land can sink with the passing of years. With the data that I was able to obtain from the district, the first thing that I created was a GIF with ArcGIS Pro. This GIF shows two data sets of contours that averages the subsidence from 1906 through 1978 and 1906 through 2016. You can see how some areas have had a larger impact due to subsidence in the most recent years. So these areas right here and here. This data also includes the area of Houston and the surrounding areas and counties as well. The second thing I made with the data I was given was a series of interpolation maps. I also added some contour lines and formatted them into a slideshow in the story map. For this data, I use the inverse distance weight tool, which is IDW for short, in ArcGIS Pro, where IDW is a deterministic technique using mathematical functions for interpolation. The technique used was something that the client had requested after seeing samples of various different interpolation methods that they had me try on this data. The data you see here was all obtained from GPS stations, and they were published in annual reports of groundwater. I was given all those PDF documents that includes data from 2001 through 2019, and I manually added the changes in elevation that the GPS stations recorded into an Excel document. I then imported that data into ArcGIS and created the data that you see here. So here you see whether there was a change in land elevation for that yearly report. The darker colors show a greater change, whether it's a positive or negative change. I also added a map that was created by a researcher where Harris County is a study area. The darker blue areas show a greater change in subsidence, which kind of correlates with the contour lines that I was able to make a GIF image from. I ended the story map with something that people can do. Water conservation efforts become important when trying to alleviate the effects of subsidence. People can learn more from the Subsidence District website and do things at home to start helping. In conclusion, land subsidence is a growing issue in and around the Houston area, which includes Fort Bend County. This story map introduces the residents to the topic, gives them information about the issue, and shows them data pertaining to the areas where they live, as well as giving suggestions to help conserve water and providing a website where they can learn more about the topic. With this story map, I hope that people can become more aware of an unseen issue and help support efforts from the district to reduce the impact of subsidence. I, myself, have learned a lot from this project and hope that some of you may take away from this as well. Thank you all for watching, and best of luck.